Will enter a not guilty plea for you. You have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. I'm appointing a public defender, the public defender's office, to represent you. Pretrial services is telling me that you are in the lowest risk category on their risk assessment. The state is asking for a $300,000 bond, I assume based on the very large quantity of drugs involved and the firearm. Give me a moment to finish reviewing what I have here. All right. Defense counsel.
So, Your Honor, the court is correct. He has absolutely no felony or misdemeanor criminal history. He's lived in Arizona for 15 years. Your Honor, we do acknowledge that the quantity is concerning, but at this stage, we don't have all the disclosure. There may or may not be certain defenses that may apply. Your Honor, we're asking for one chance on pretrial services, but he's unable to afford a $300,000 bond, which the state is asking. So for those reasons, Judge, I did talk to him. I think the best we could do is a $10,000 bond. I know it's way different than what the state is asking, but that would what we would be. That is something we would be asking if you're not inclined to release it. 10,000. Thank you.
All right. So again, I'm in a situation where my instinct is to set a significant bond based on the allegations. However, best practices are that I'm supposed to set release conditions based on the risk of failure to appear and the risk to the community. Yes, go ahead.
So I understand where the court's coming from, and I understand this court places great weight on the pretrial services metrics. But I'm asking the court to give some weight to the allegations that are in the probable cause complaint. When we talk about danger to the community and continuing danger to the community, someone transporting 1 million fentanyl pills, I mean, that's enough to kill thousands of people in our community of this epidemic with fentanyl that we are all aware of practicing where we do. I'm asking the court to consider and give some weight to the allegations here. I know pretrial service has the metrics that they use, and I know that those can be helpful to the court, but certainly the conduct should prescribe the bond in some sort when there is a clear and present danger to the community at whole with this amount of fentanyl. Furthermore, I'd ask the court to consider that in his statement to police, he talks about being in Mexico with his car in Mexico. That tells the state that he does not have significant ties to this community and has ties to Mexico, which also concern the state about his future ability and appearance in court. So for those reasons, I am asking the court to consider some significant bond here. I can count on one hand the time I've seen 1 million fentanyl.
I agree with you. Here's my concern. I'm not debating whether 1 million fentanyl pills poses a risk to the community. It clearly does, and that is an issue that would be very important to me if I were sentencing this person. I guess the question for me, though, is if I were to release him now, what is his risk to the community while the case is pending? Do you want to address that?
Well, I think it goes back then to the ties he has to the community. And now we've got a situation where this court is saying, well, if I were sentencing him, I'd consider the great risk he had to the community at the time he committed this conduct. And now it sounds to me like he'd be facing quite a bit of prison time. So yeah, I have worries about his appearance. I have worries about the conduct here. I'm asking the court to give weight to both of those things.
All right. For the reasons I stated earlier, I'm not going to set a $300,000 bond. I am going to set a significant bond, though. Give me one moment. I have to balance everything that I have before me. I'm concerned about, again, the nature of the offense, but I'm also very cognizant that he has no criminal history. He does have significant ties to the community, but as the state points out, he was in Mexico recently, which suggests that he certainly could go back to Mexico. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $50,000 secured. If you post that, sir, you're released to pretrial services. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and submit to any monitoring or treatment that's directed by pretrial services. Your attorney can certainly ask the Superior Court judge to modify your release conditions, and they'll have more information at that time than I have now. Your next court date on this is going to be November 25th. That's at 1:30 in the afternoon. Sir, that court date's very likely to change. If you do post bond and you're out of custody, you need to appear for that hearing. If you post bond and you're out of custody, you need to stay in touch with your attorney and with pretrial. That way they can tell you if your court date changes. If you fail to appear, you will get a warrant.